Hello students, so I'm here in my studio and I'm going to give you a lesson on charcoal drawing using value. Okay, so the supplies you need are some vine or willow charcoal, your blenders, erasers, drawing paper, and your viewfinder. So I'm going to start by just doing a grayscale with the charcoal, going from light, the white of the paper, all the way to black. I forgot to mention another really great blending tool is a tissue or Kleenex. So I'm pushing it into the grain of the paper using the side of the charcoal. A kneaded eraser will pick up and lighten the whole area. So I want to just sort of build to my blacks. Layering, going a little bit heavier as I go. This is about as dark as vine charcoal can get. Compressed charcoal gets a little bit darker, but I find that the two actually don't blend that great together. I tend to use this vine or willow charcoal because it's easier to lighten and erase. The compressed charcoal, you'll get really dark and you won't be able to remove it. Or this, I can go in and lighten areas with my eraser. I also can use this to create values. Just by blending, you want to be gentle so you're not creating incised lines in the paper. So there's your grayscale. You're working, like I said, to create these smooth transitions that are going to be necessary to describe form. So that's the first thing you're going to do on a piece of paper that's 9 by 12. Oops. I've set up a still life with simple objects and a strong light source. So I don't have all the objects lined up, I have them back in space. I've also chose objects that are different values. This is a medium value, dark and light. It's a medium value. I'm using a viewfinder here to create a composition. Think about how big you want the objects on the picture plane. Think about how big you want the objects, or if you want to zoom in. Okay, I'm going to start with just trying to get the objects on the scale that I want to. That is goes back to our sighting and mapping. I'm kind of starting with this maybe as a unit of measurement. I could see how many of these fit in that picture. That would be 1, 2, 3, a little more than 3. And the picture starts here. 1, 2, 3. I'm sketching lightly. Keep it light in the beginning. I didn't look at my edge here to see if this was going to fit on. I just sort of jumped in with the ball here. But let's keep going. Okay, here I want to make sure I'm thinking about ellipses, which we haven't talked a lot about. Okay, I'm looking here at negative shapes. Also, I'm looking at sighting and mapping. Where is the top of that bottle going to be? Start to get that. And then, like I said, right here, I'm looking at negative shapes. Because I didn't get it quite right, so I'm going to move it over a bit. Here I like to build forms with ellipses. So this is wrong. That's sort of, I guess we sort of covered that with cross contour, but I like to think of these objects as being round versus just thinking about their edges. I still got this off a bit. And this might be off a bit. That might be what's throwing me off. Look at the bottom here of this object and see how much space there is, you know, what this negative space is right here. This I still might have a little bit close. Okay. I can measure this, this unit of measurement. Here I can still use, even though I moved that ball, to measure my mug. So this is going to be the first step to get everything laid out. So here I could measure, using this unit of measurement, how many fit in this box. So I'm measuring the ball across about 2. This could be a measurement that I could do. See how many fit there. Right here, I want to try to avoid having this outlined because it's actually very light there. So that's a tough one. We can see that this is darker than the ball, but I think the table is slightly darker than the ball too. If we give the table a soft value, then we can go in and define this edge as being white. I'm going to erase that dark outline for a minute. So this is what I would be looking at with your drawings in class, is making sure that you're not using an outline to describe something. It's just two values sitting next to each other. So I'm going to go back in and just make the table slightly lighter, this slightly darker. Use my blender. Now you can use charcoal pencil if you have them. Like I said, sometimes this is a compressed charcoal. Sometimes this is, doesn't really blend that great with the vine. But you can play with that. Because you can really go in and define something with the pencil. I usually just use this. Once it gets worn down, okay, here we have a nice. So here again, I don't want to define that with the dark line. I'm going to lighten it a little. I want to look at this edge. Which one's lighter, which one's darker? All right, so after you work this drawing for 3 hours, or you work several drawings for 3 hours, then you really need to spray them. I would love to see photographs in progress. So take a photograph every half hour, every hour, or as things change. And this will be great documentation for yourself as well.